What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. It's a new week, it's a new month. Happy November. I hope that you guys had a fantastic October. As October has now closed out, we now have a new monthly candle printed over here on the Bitcoin price chart and with the rest of the market. And we could see that Bitcoin had its highest monthly close in history, closing up here near just over $61,000. Of course, as a month comes to a close, I did add a market update over here on bcbacker.com. It is down here at the bottom. If you are enrolled in the course, you have access to this video down here. If you newly enroll in the course, you'll have access to it as well. October 31st, Bitcoin sets a new all-time high with Ethereum and altcoin market. Alt season similarities. I posted that over here on Twitter last night before we went trick-or-treating. So it was a late night for us who we do celebrate Halloween, go around the whole neighborhood. It's wild here. Late night, lots of candy, and well, I had to carve my own pumpkin, and I had to pay a little bit of respect to XRP. Made a little mood with an XRP logo up there for my pumpkin. And as we kick this week off, I think we'll just take a look over here at the Bitcoin price chart. We'll look over there at the altcoin market cap, the total market cap, Ethereum, XRP, and just get kind of a broad look at how we're starting off November and the things that I'll be hoping for and the things that I think we're primed for to happen in the month of November. As we all should know, August was a fantastic month, September was a corrective month, and then October was a rocking month once again. But here we are. For the last 12 days, Bitcoin has been slightly pulling back, and the altcoin market has continued to march upwards during this time. Now, if you were here during all of May, June, and July, and all the craziness, then you have undoubtedly heard double tap on top of the all-time high with a bull flag, with a breakout, back test into the bull flag, V-bottom. This is a phenomenon that occurs all the time in bubble structures. When we're like halfway up a bubble, we'll see these double taps come out. You'll see the bull flag get printed right at the top, and then you'll see the big breakout. Then a signature move is a little bit of a short squeeze right at the end, followed by a massive sell-off right back down into the bull flag, then back to the top. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and it's very normal to have these types of things happen. And if you've watched the channel, I've gone into detail many times about these things happening and why I was able to keep my conviction the whole time during May, June, and July that we would be able to hold the bull flag right here on top of the double tap for the altcoin market, which was placed right over here on top of the all-time high from 2017 and 18. In a bubble run-up, we'll see these frequently, and we can see it happening even here with Bitcoin back in 2017 with your double bounce, your bull flags coming in here, your massive breakout. There's your short squeeze followed by a drastic pullback down into that price level, back up, and notice how much it has to work out right here. I think it's important that we're going to look at that for just a second to understand what's going on with the altcoin market right now, that as we get back up to these price levels after you have the double tap, bull flag, breakout, back test, it has to grind out right in here. That is also what had to happen for the Dow Jones Industrial Average as it got back to the all-time high before the sell-off took place. And so as the total altcoin market cap is back up here, back at this all-time high, it's not unusual for us to have this just grinding phase. And I actually did make a video. It'd be impossible for me to go back and find it. I would assume within the month of October discussing this phenomenon, how it's just going to grind out of here until it finally goes. But the great news about this right in here is it's doing exactly what we've always seen. Even on the Dow Jones, as it got back up to the all-time high before it was able to clear it, the Dow Jones did an ABC correction first, just like what happened over here on the altcoin market. And for me, I'm super excited about the altcoin market. It shouldn't be any surprise by now. I've shared it on Twitter. I've made it on a ton of videos. You guys all know exactly where my stance is. I'm way more of a believer in the altcoin market at this point than with Bitcoin due to how much Bitcoin's already run up. The percentages on Bitcoin are dismal. I'm really excited about the altcoins that still have a lot of potential left in them, in particular things that haven't really broken out of their all-time highs from 2018 just yet. But if this is to be true, if we are on the brink of getting a big old explosion coming out of here, then the excitement of the market is just around the corner. And with that comes the chaos, comes the shilling of altcoins, which you are already seeing all over Twitter. Everybody's shilling everything they got. People buying low caps, trying to be the first one to get in it, and then starting a marketing campaign on Twitter to try to get you to to buy whatever garbage they've got to shill to you. That will continue. There are people trying to shill a Doge knockoff in every one of my comments. I block those people every time. If you want to be one of those people, you will get blocked. The comment section of my tweets is not a place for you to show your garbage, and you will be eliminated. And speaking of eliminated, that is what we saw happen today on a meme coin. And this is something to take notice of, right? If you're playing in the meme coin game, you have to expect, that a rug's going to be pulled on you at some point. And the irony of the Squid Game chart here is this thing's up like millions of percentage points, okay? I mean, it's up absolutely an atrocious amount, and then it just gets wiped out to zero. There's videos online of streamers watching it happen live, and I'm about to say something that's a spoiler to the show Squid Game. So if you haven't seen Squid Game and if you don't want the spoiler, please skip forward 30 seconds from right now, but I am going to say something that will spoil that show if you haven't watched it yet. But in the example of Squid Game chart here, right, if you're investing in this type of meme, what happens in Squid Game? Right? Everybody gets eliminated and one player walks away with all the money. And that's exactly what ended up happening here on the Squid Game chart. Somebody rug pulled the whole market, took all the money, and every player got eliminated and lost everything. And if people are investing in these meme coins, please think about that. You have no idea what the supply dynamics are like on the back end and what the people's plan is who are running marketing campaigns to get you to buy these meme coins. I'm not saying you can't make money on them, because you can sometimes, but the end result, like in the end, it's a game of hot potato. And whoever is caught holding the hot potato at the end, this is what usually happens. You lose 99.99% on these types of things, because what are they? These are not investments. These are gambling. And that's what meme coins are. You're riding the hype of what's happening within the moment. And the goal of everybody buying meme coins is to get in, ride the hype, and sell it, and not be the one caught with the hot potato. That's the whole point of meme coins. If you are buying meme coins, investing in them, and holding them long term, you don't understand what happens with meme coins. Now, I do feel bad for anybody who ended up buying into that, but the reality is if you're buying anything named any kind of animal or any type of food group or television show, all of it is that same stuff. And we'll probably see a whole lot more of it as alt season continues moving on, because this is the same structure that we see over and over again after you have a double tap on top of an all-time high, bull flag breakout, backtest, V bottom, ABC, and then afterwards, once this grinds out, things start heating up a whole lot more. And I talk about how alt season is just crazy, right? It's not just crazy because the charts are going crazy. It's crazy because if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitter, anywhere, it's just pure madness, and it's hard to get any real solid information out there, because what you don't know about most people is what their bags look like. Is somebody shilling something to you simply because they got in really low and now they want you to buy, and they want you to pump their bags, right? And influencers, YouTubers, Twitter, all that stuff are notorious for doing those types of things. Getting in first, shilling it to an audience, and trying to get the audience to pump the bag, and then they dump on the audience. But I can tell you with 100% certainty, and I'm able to put my head down on my pillow and sleep at night without any regrets, because I have never and will never shill any type of low cap coin to you guys. I will never tell you about some secret gem that is out there that you can be one of the first ones to get into. Even if there is some type of lower cap coin that I've ever purchased, I don't even tell you guys about it, because I don't ever want to be perceived that I'm pumping bags. But there has never been a case, and never will be a case, where I've bought a low cap coin and shilled it to you guys. But we'll just move on from that. Those are, outside of scammers, which there's scammers everywhere. I had posted about it on Twitter yesterday. Look, I'm not running around on Twitter DMing people. So if you're getting a DM from what appears to be me on Twitter, make sure, go look and see what the name is, because I am not out there running around saying, hi, how are you? Hey, can I talk to you about a really good investment opportunity? That's not me. That's a scammer on Twitter. I also don't have an Instagram account. If there's somebody out there on Instagram posing as me, it's not me. Please help me. Please report all of those guys as scammers. Report them as impersonators. But I thought we would touch topic on that because, scams can come in all different shapes and forms. And and a lot of times they show up as coins. And really, they're meme coins are the perfect guise and marketing style to say, hey, this is a meme coin. This is all for fun. This is all good and great. But in the end, on the back end, there's somebody waiting to rug pull the whole thing. So just be careful out there. I thought we'd talk about that as things start to kind of heat up. Watch out for those meme coins. I always assume that's the end result of all of them. Otherwise, let's move on. I've got the total market cap of crypto pulled up right here in front of us. For those who have been following the channel, we've discussed this phenomenon occurring in the cryptocurrency market multiple times. This occurred back in 2014, 15, 16, and 17 as well. Is that when we look at the rally that occurred right before the capitulation of the cryptocurrency market and the capitulation of Bitcoin back in 2018 down here, really September 3rd really kind of seems to be that marking point of where that rally occurred on most altcoin charts when measuring out a 4.236 extension based on the 0.236 Fibonacci level right there at the retracement level or at the capitulation zone. We get a perfect knock at the 4.236 extension. First timers watching the channel right now, you're thinking this is ludicrous, this is madness right now. I totally understand. Go look at my most viewed YouTube video that I have out there. Go to my videos, sort them by most popular. Watch the one that's got over 200,000 views on it. I go into detail on this way before it ever ended up happening to the total market cap of crypto. The rally prior to capitulation being a measurement for a 4.236 extension. We had a perfect knockback here on the total market cap of all of crypto. And then as we finished up October, we did finish up right back up here. I made a ton of thumbnails on my YouTube videos with an arrow pointed up there to head back up to that level. As we get back to this level, this is kind of that last moment, that last phase before this big, massive blast out happens in the market that we've seen happen in this market before. And what I've really been basing a lot of what I'm doing here in the cryptocurrency market has been based on this structure, based on this phenomenon, based on this expectation. And my expectation for the next phase of the market is that at some point, this thing is going to just surge out of here. I don't know what day that's going to happen on. I don't know what minute that's going to happen on. But in this market, we have seen this happen before. And I've pointed here to the Litecoin chart multiple times here. And as we can see, getting knocked back very hard from the 4.236 extension based on the rally prior to the capitulation of the previous bull run. So this is back in 2015. This is 2017 where we saw this phenomenon occurring and how we could see an absolute pinpoint nail right up here at the 4.236 extension. Monster pushback that occurred here, just like we had happen over here in the total market cap of crypto, and then worked its way back up to the top. And as you can see in here, as it got back to the top, it was having to work this zone out for a little while till suddenly something occurred in the market that was able to get Litecoin to go absolutely surging straight upward. But take notice of that, right? It didn't last long, right? If you really count the days here, it's only like 4 or 5 days once this blast out occurred. Boom. I mean, hundreds of percentage points, but then it was all over. But we'll address that when the time comes. The thing we're really focusing more on right now is the fact that we had to work out the zone up in here as we got back up to here. And that's where we're at right now for the total market cap. So you've heard me talk about over the last 2 weeks, or really the last week, saying, look, the charts are getting primed right now for some type of monster news catalyst to show up. And I posted that over here on Twitter this morning. I said Bitcoin's price chart is primed for some type of explosive news for the altcoin market. I often refer to a simulation, the hands pulling the puppet strings, God, the balance of the universe, whatever makes these things happen when they do. But we are primed for big news because we see that over here on the total market cap of all of crypto that we're primed for very big news. We know that these chart setups in this particular situation, which is not something I'm making up today. I've made dozens of YouTube videos talking about this as we were pulling back from that 4.236 extension, that this would be the expectation. And this thing is waiting for something. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what the news will be. I have no idea if it's going to be related to the SEC and Ripple, or if there's going to be something passed with Congress that just completely throws everything going on with the SEC out the window. I have no idea what the news will be. But the news will be something that will probably shatter the universe. Probably having the same type of hype and emotional excitement as we saw when Tesla came out and said that they were buying Bitcoin. At that time, that was a big earth-shattering news event, right? Michael Saylor buying it, whatever, that was no big deal. At that time, there was no real big companies coming out and saying it. But when Tesla did it, what Tesla's like most retail investors like favorite stock, right? Everybody loves Elon Musk. So when that news came out, it really validated Bitcoin. It validated cryptocurrency, and it was like earth-shattering news at that time. But so why do I keep talking about this news and stuff like that? Well, when the Tesla news came out, I didn't buy into that hype. If this is true, right? If we're all lined up right here, ready for some type of earth-shattering news to come out, you're going to see the same thing that always happens in crypto. People really, really excited about the news. And when you get really, really excited about the news, what does it do? It causes you to, not sell, causes you to question, the things that you've maybe thought about, causes you to consider to buy more, add more because the news is so exciting, everything is so good. But, there's a famous quote out there, right? Show me a chart and I'll tell you the news. And the charts are all saying right now, some type of explosive good news is like waiting to be released, in particular to affect the altcoin market for some reason. It seems to all point towards it's not going to be world changing and shattering for Bitcoin. I still think there's more upside to the Bitcoin price chart, right? We're sitting at what, $62,000 right now. I still think we're going to get up into the 70s, but that's not a drastic percentage change, right? But a lot of things are pointing to news for altcoins for some reason, that it'll really impact what people's thought process is around altcoins. Because I put out a YouTube video last week that was really focused just on XRP, 41-minute video, maybe 44-minute, I don't even know. It was fully focused on XRP and deep diving into what happens in Bitcoin's market cycles when the tops of Bitcoin come in and when the altcoin market takes off, or in particular when XRP has taken off during each top of a market cycle for Bitcoin. And if all of this is true, right? If we're following a mega super cycle here, and if this thing's going to top up here between $72,000 and $80,000, whatever, $70,000 and $80,000, I know there's a lot of people out there who disagree with me on that, and that's completely fine. I've done enough case building with it on here. Either you believe it or you don't. That's fine. I'm going with it that it is. But if we're up here reaching out to this final topping area, then what has happened each time the top of Bitcoin has come in and when the altcoin market has exploded? Well, we could look at what happened at the top in 2017, and we saw the big first ABC correction pullback down here after Bitcoin hit $17,000, and then it topped up here at 20,000. But $17,000, big large fall back up to the top. When that moment happened, that's where the altcoins suddenly started to surge into this moment as Bitcoin went sideways right in here, and it started firing off significantly higher with, from this day right here, December 11th, Bitcoin rose a total of 17% beyond that moment, yet the altcoin market rose a total of 253%. This was the primed location of where the altcoin market went on a surge. That's where Bitcoin is right now in its current cycle. And if we go back to 2013, as Bitcoin had its big 50% pullback, rose back up above the all-time high and pulled back below the all-time high, you can see the altcoin market started to go crazy here in this time period. One last push for Bitcoin, but a monster push for the altcoin market. So in history, in market cycle tops for Bitcoin, we are literally living in this moment right here like we were in 2013 and like we were in 2017, with Bitcoin almost reaching a full 4.236 extension, a full super cycle extension, setting a new all-time high over here and now pulling back below the all-time high. Just like what happened back here in 2017 at the ending that sent the altcoin market skyrocketing, and like what happened back in 2013 that sent the altcoin market skyrocketing. It's one of those things I've said on my YouTube channel for a very long time. Like, there's this good case that there's a simulation out there, and even though it's kind of mainstream to say it's a simulation, so I don't really know if I go with that. More that like there's a mathematical balance to the universe, or there truly is some type of underground New World Order guys who are all pulling the puppet strings and releasing things at the exact. It would have to be super coordinated, for them to be able to do all that, which is still possible. Or it's just a balance of the universe, or whatever it is, that things happen when they're supposed to happen because the chart says that it's time. And right now, based on history, based on topping structures of Bitcoin in 2017 and 2013, we are set up for an explosion in the altcoin market. And with that, in order to get retail investment hype, typically there's some type of news that comes along with that to get them super excited and to get them to FOMO. And I try to mentally prepare myself of like, okay, if the chart's primed, If this thing is going to do what I've anticipated it to do for a very, very long time and talked about it on my YouTube channel for a very, very long time, there's a pretty good chance some really good news is going to come along with that. And for that, I'm going to prepare for it and I'm not going to let that news impact me, right? Talked about it earlier in here. I never show you guys gems that are gonna moon 48,000x and you can get in early. I tell you guys the stuff that I'm in, right? All the big name stuff that I'm in, and I am going to take profit on those. No secret. Take profit on the way up. But I'm mentally preparing that if that big news does come, if this chart does what it says it's going to do and what history has done, it's going to explode out of there. Now, I can just explode out of there with no news. No news is necessary. But I've been in this market long enough to know there's usually some type of news that makes retail investors buy the top of it. So I'm prepared for that. I'm prepared for that news. And I talked about it in a video last week that I'm like, people probably aren't going to like me at the end of this bull run because I'm not going to change what I'm doing. And there will be a lot of people questioning whether or not I'm making right decisions because the news is so good. So I'm just laying that out there that the charts are prepared, that the charts look ready for a massive news drop of epic proportions. And if it does happen, these are the types of things that make you question your reality. Why did the chart tell us the news was going to come? Was a puppet master playing with the strings and the puppets? Who was behind it? Who coordinated all of that to happen? Or did the universe just happen to fall into place at just the right time? And I know I sound crazy right now because it hasn't happened, right? But if it does, hopefully we can reflect back on this and talk about this because I've seen these things happen way too often. And the reality was the stock market, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it was going to come back and backtest this bull flag on top of this double tap no matter what. It was going to do it violently no matter what. But a really, really good news narrative came along to sell it. And maybe it's something even bigger than crypto. Maybe it's something to do with global markets. Maybe it's something to do with the US dollar. Maybe it's a bunch of money printing. I have no idea what the narrative could be, and maybe it has nothing to do with crypto at all. Maybe it's something based on much bigger than that. And all markets explode at the exact same time. But I like to talk about a lot of these things before they ever end up happening so that when I start talking about things later, I can be like, look, just go back and listen to what I was talking about back then. And right now I feel like as the words come out of my mouth that I sound like I'm crazy. But it's not until it becomes validated and it's like, well, it wasn't crazy. I talked about the phenomenon of the rally prior to capitulating giving us a measurement to the 4.236 extension and talked about it back in 2020. And I even put it all together in my course when Bitcoin was down here at $11,000. It's crazy that it actually happened. It's crazy that it happened with pinpoint precision. When the world was screaming that we were in a bear market, I was screaming that the price level would hold and that it would head back up in here. It ended up happening. I'm not saying any of this to boost my own ego. I'm saying this because the charts merely told us that it was going to happen. And the charts are telling us that, well, if we continue to do exactly all these things that it's been doing, then it says there's a big explosion. And most likely, with a big explosion comes big news. And with big news, everybody starts questioning everything that they thought they were going to do. Is my bag big enough? Do I need to own more of it? Do I sell it? No way I'm selling it. Blockchain backer, what are you doing? Don't you take this into consideration now as totally changing your perception of everything? And the reality is, news does not impact me. And who knows, man? Maybe we get absolutely no news whatsoever, but the only thing that's happening to me is I'm looking at the chart and I'm all like super pumped because I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, this thing looks ready to absolutely explode out of here. And if it's going to explode, is it just going to do it on its own, right? Or is there going to be big news that comes with it? I don't know, man. I remember back in 2018, I think I was watching Digital Asset Investor, and he was saying, you know what? I know it in 2019, we're going to have a Super Bowl ad, right? It never ended up happening. We never ended up having an ad during the Super Bowl. And I think maybe in 2019, I can't remember. He said, we'll have one in 2020. There will be a Super Bowl ad. And I don't remember if there was a Super Bowl ad or not at that time. But, given enough time, look where we are right now. If you don't know it, the World Series is on right now, which is United States, it's Major League Baseball. It's the World Series. Every single umpire has the FTX exchange logo on their uniform. You have constant cryptocurrency commercials during the whole World Series. Like the world is being bombarded with cryptocurrency advertisements right now. And so that isn't a knock at digital asset investor. He saw that future that there was going to be this day that during a sports event, we're going to have some type of, crypto ad. It may not be the Super Bowl, but if you're watching the World Series right now, you're getting bombarded with crypto at all times right now. The world is getting hyped for cryptocurrency right now. And if you hype them up, you tell them where to go buy it, then we need a news narrative to jam them in to go and do it. So I don't know. I'm really excited. I think it's about to explode out of here. And I'm just walking you down the thought process that goes on in my mind. Because what we do know about Bitcoin during the run up that happened in here, the Tesla news was released right there, right on that day is where Tesla announced that they were buying Bitcoin or that they had already bought Bitcoin. And when you look at the on chain data of all of the large holders, of all of the large whales, they all started dumping here and their bags just went all the way down while retail investors were all buying the top. So I put this out here to say when we've seen gigantic earth shattering news happen before, that historically has been the profit taking zone for the larger bags. So while all of us regular people, all of us normies are all excited about the news and it's getting us emotionally thrilled and making us say, oh my gosh, this is going to be something huge, all the guys behind the scenes, the ones pulling the puppet strings, they're over there dumping. And I keep that in the back of my mind because it's very clear here for the accounts or the wallets, the addresses holding more than 1,000 Bitcoin. The moment that the Elon news came out was the very top of their bags, and they began dumping all into laser eyes, diamond hands. I'm never selling. Well, they were for sure. The whole time retail was excited. And so when we get to this moment, all the things I'm really saying is I'm really, really excited. And I think the altcoin market's going to absolutely explode. That's really what I'm saying. But I also say in the back of my mind, what am I going to do about it when it happens, right? Am I going to sit there and post rocket ships? Probably. I'm probably going to post some rocket ships on Twitter and have a live stream where we post a lot of rocket ships for sure. But I've got to have a plan going into it. I've got to have expectations of what that moment's going to be like. Because while it is alt season and while it's an exciting time period, it's also profit taking season. It's also get paid season. And as we head into profit taking season, I want to make sure that you guys know where I'm coming from because it's been this big, complication in my head on, when do I post? How do I tell people, hey, I'm taking some profits here? Because you know what always happens? The same things that happen at the bottom. Like when people are screaming at me, just admit it's a bear market. The same things happen to me at the top. If I tell you guys when I'm selling stuff, is I get you're selling too early. Ha, look, you sold too early. You were wrong. Who can trust you now because you can't get that right? So if I share all these things, it's the exact same thing as at the bottom. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to pinpoint precisely, nail the tops onto everything that I'm getting out of. But I'll do my best to share it with you on my thought processes of all of it, regardless of what type of news is out there and regardless of how many critics are out there. Because people can be critical all they want. The reality is, I've been transparent with you, and you've seen this YouTube channel for the last 2 years. I was here when the altcoin market cap was $50 billion, posting on Twitter on how I was loading my bags back then. A lot of the critics who maybe have bought within the last couple of months cannot prove that they were doing that like I was a long, long time ago. And we can see this market cap of the altcoin market at 1.47 trillion, which is 1,470 billion. So we're talking about going from 50 billion to 1,470 billion, riding the whole thing all the way up. But there comes a point in time where I've got to start paying myself for all of that. Because still, to this day, right now, I'm 100% long the market, 100%, and still have not taken a penny out of the market. But as we head into the next phase of this market, I'm planning on doing so. And I'm letting you know what's going on in my mind as we head into that moment. And what I'm anticipating is extreme hype, extreme excitement, extreme euphoria, extremely good news. And then the dingus blockchain backer saying, "Hey, I'm selling, even though this all looks really great and dandy and all, I'm selling." And I just want you to kind of know where I'm coming from before we get there. But it's definitely an exciting time in the market as Bitcoin had its highest monthly close in history for October. Ethereum had its highest close in history as well. And XRP, about par for the course. Still just waiting for XRP to get going. But hopefully you had an opportunity to watch the video I made last week for the XRP price chart and related that to what we talked about today with Bitcoin and showing where Bitcoin's at. That's also the same location where XRP took off. So maybe cross our fingers, I don't know. Maybe the news that we do get is related to Ripple, related to the SEC, and hopefully positively impacts XRP because to me, unquestionably, the XRP price chart as well is primed for a big breakout. And as you guys know, over the last several months, it's been a less focus on XRP, right? As I've been watching the XRP price chart, I've been sitting there watching and thinking and saying, you know what? We look at the phases of when XRP has taken off. It's taken off at specific phases within market cycles. And XRP has just been stuck underneath all of the retracement levels. It still is right now. We can see how it's nicely bouncing around here between these retracement levels. We've got some big ones to get through, right? Before we get through that 702 retracement, it's got to get through $1.53. For it to get through the 786 retracement, it's got to get through $1.65. But the market is primed and ready for XRP. So now my attention is focused back on saying, you know what? This thing is now ready to go because the market is ready to go. So it'll be exciting to see what comes for XRP as well. And I look forward to the excitement that comes in November. And for a lot of us who have been around here for several years, the talk has always been, do we have to wait 4 years for things to get really exciting all over again? And can you believe it? Look at your watch, look at your computer screen. It's November of 2021, guys. It's November and December of 2021. And it was November and December of 2017 where things got crazy. So here we are. Let's see what it's got to offer us. And I'm pretty excited to start this new month and see what it's got in store for us. So, all right, guys, that's it. We were all over the place in this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you'd like, you can check out my website over here, which is bcbacker.com. This is my course where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles, and tying them all together to show how they've worked in the past. I talk about mathematics and percentages in here, why they're so important to me. I teach you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. And I talk about my personal exit plans in this course. I also did include a market update in there last night, like we talked about at the beginning of this video, and like I tweeted over there on Twitter. That market update is available to anybody enrolled in the course and anybody who newly enrolls in the course. And you can check out all of this educational content over here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.